All right, there we go. What's going on, everybody? So, yesterday, what ended up happening during our live stream was we were working through the whole entire tab bar situation. I actually didn't I didn't get to finish implementing it. So we're just gonna wrap this up, and then we're gonna switch over to actually saving data. I'm gonna essentially make it so that our backend can handle that post data. What's going on, Flo? How's your day going? And Sukman, how's your day going? How's your Tuesday going? I know that I'm kind of off to a little bit of a late start, but it was because I woke up to somebody needed help on Discord, and I was like, okay, well, let me look into this. So I was like writing some stuff on GitHub and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm here now. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to check out how to like actually return a child. So we have the bottom navigation bar right here, and then I think it should have like a child or something like that, right? Let's see. It doesn't have a child. No? All right, we need to find the bottom navigation bar like post that we were looking at the other day, or yesterday, I guess I should say. And we need to find how to do that. So Flutter bottom navigation bar. Looks like I was looking at this one. And it's gonna be down. And so we got the items. Oh, okay, the body. Okay. Cool. I could do that. All right, so let's go ahead and add in our body, right? Supposedly, right? Unless this is wrong too, but okay. So scaffold. It needs to return a scaffold. Got it. All right. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna return the scaffold like this. This is gonna be our bottom navigation bar, and yeah. Oh yes. Oh, Eugene is in the house. What's going on, Eugene? How's it going? If y'all haven't checked out Eugene's channel, y'all need to check out Eugene's channel. Whew. All right. You know, I'm kind of like, I'm not going to lie. I'm a little bit tired of Flutter. I've been doing it a lot in the past 2 months, and I really miss working with Swift. I really miss messing with Android. I'm not going to lie. It's like, I want to do something on Swift. I actually wanted to make something on Vapor. I wanted to play with Vapor. I wanted to play with Lambda. I want to do stuff like that. So yeah. Just trying to wake up. Oh, okay. This is the right way to start your day. So now you can eat cereal and watch me at the same damn time. What's going on, Javier? That J melody for you. Sachin sending love from India. Thank you. I appreciate that. Love from the US. Coming right back at you. Looks like everybody's having like a pretty decent start to their day. Or at least it sounds like that, right? I know that I'm having a pretty decent start to my day. So there's that. All right, so let's go ahead and get this body in here, right? Big body. Big body. All right, and then we're going to grab our widgets, and we're going to pass in the current index. So widgets. And then we grab our state, and our state is an int, so we can just pass in our state right there, like so. All right, cool. All right, what software do you use for your live streams? I use OBS, so you guys want to see like some inception? Watch this. Look at that window. I use OBS. It seems to work really well. What you'll notice if you're interested, for anybody that might be interested in live streaming if you ever want to, is that I'm doing output for 30 frames per second. And I also set the KBS, the bit something. It's like a bit something. And I set it till about 4,500, which you should, when you're doing live streaming, I always recommend that you use this link. Where is it? It's like Twitch live stream resolution. This is a really good link. So Google it, and then I try to do this one. So this is the resolution. I try to give you guys 1080p, 4,500 bit rate, and then like all this stuff. So I use OBS with this setting right here. Yes. What's going on, Javier? He's up in the house. How do I join this 100 Days of Hustle challenge? Anything specific? That was a challenge that I did about 2 years ago. And I couldn't make it through. Like a lot of stuff changed. So during the 100 Days of Hustle challenge, it was essentially making it so that like within 100 days, I wanted to become like an entrepreneur, right? And essentially what I was going to do is I was just going to work my ass off for 100 days. And man, boy, was that hard. That was really hard. So what ended up happening was I kind of fell behind a little bit, but then I also went out to WWDC. I went to AltConf, which is right next to WWDC. And like what ended up happening was, oh my God, Kenny, what is this? Kenny? Damn, man. Thank you so much, Kenny. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. You didn't have to do all that, bro. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. So you got me all turned around, Kenny. So what ended up happening, damn, Kenny. Also, Kenny has a great YouTube channel. Make sure you check it out as well. I was like binge watching some of his content because I just found it yesterday, and like he has like a really great channel. I really enjoy his content, so check him out too. But yes, I was doing like the 100 Days of Hustle. I ended up going to AltConf, which is right next door to WWDC, and I met so many great developers, so many knowledgeable people that had been in the industry for so long. And what ended up happening was I realized like I need to go work at a larger company. So that like kind of changed my entire trajectory of what I wanted to do, like where my path wanted to go. And I ended up working at, an electric scooter company called Bird. And that was like a slightly bigger company. So like I was able to be with senior engineers and just like more senior engineers and stuff like that. And I was able to learn from them. But like when I got there, I noticed that, with everything that I've done here on YouTube and the apps that I had implemented in the past at a different company, at a startup, like since I was like building for scale at that startup, even though like the code wasn't the prettiest, I was forward thinking. A lot of the stuff that was implemented at Bird, I actually had implemented something very similar at the previous company. So it was like, there was a lot that I learned at Bird, but at the same time, I wasn't too far off base when it came to what like all the things that I could learn. Like the majority of the stuff that I learned in regards to programming was in different languages like Android and backend and stuff like that. So yeah. So that's like what happened to the 100 Days of Hustle. It just like, I just went off into a completely different direction. Amanpreet, what's going on? I didn't get to say hi to you. I'm sorry about that. Kenny just kind of surprised me with this awesome, super chat. Really appreciate that. You learn a lot at a big company. Yeah. So now I'm at AWS, right? And I'm not an engineer. I'm a senior developer advocate, but I get to work with the engineers when I choose, right? Like I get to work with them very closely. If I wanted to like contribute code to the actual code base, I could do that. But I feel like my time is better spent, and it's a little bit funner, to be honest. It's a little bit funner to be doing like YouTube videos, live streams and stuff like that, learning out in the open, and then like hanging out with y'all. So that's just like the way that I see it. So yeah, it's a pretty good situation. Back to this. So let's go ahead and get, okay, we have the tab bar, right? Our session navigation bar. Why is it complaining? Let's see. Is it just because it's not used? Yeah. Right? It really is a dream job. This is like, oh my God. So I was actually telling Kenny this yesterday. So, like I get laid off from Bird, right? All right, I'm probably not going to be coding right now. I'm not going to even lie. Hold on. So I'm working at Bird, right? Pandemic hits. Boom. We're starting to work from home, right? 2 weeks into like working from home, thinking everything's fine, we're engineers, whatever, right? Get laid off. Just death to my role. And, I was bummed, like obviously being laid off. I really enjoyed working at that company. But when I put out a video, talking about the whole entire situation about me being laid off, and like I was trying to be like, sometimes like I feel like everything kind of happens for a reason, and I feel like when something like that presents itself, there has to be something good that's on the other side too. So I try to see the silver lining, and I try to stay optimistic, right? And that was like the point of the video, was like a lot of people were getting laid off at the time, and I just wanted anybody that was getting laid off to like kind of try to stay optimistic, because especially us, the people in this field, are lucky to even be in this field. I feel like this is such an awesome field to be in, and we're doing generally much better in terms of finances and like the enjoyment in our job and stuff like that, compared to people that work like at a restaurant, right? I used to work at a restaurant, so I try to see the silver lining, and that was what that video was about. Now, the day after I got laid off, my current manager from AWS, he reaches out to me in my Twitter DMs, and he says, "Hey, like, would you be interested in a DevRel position?" And I was like, well, I don't really know too much about that. Like, what is that? And he's like telling me about it, and I'm like, man, this sounds so fake. Like this sounds like a fake job. Like I thought I was gonna get scammed or something, right? And I started looking it up, and I'm like, oh crap, like this is cool. And then I realized that there's some people. I realized that I actually know developer advocates, so I start reaching out to them, and I'm like talking to them, and I'm trying to figure out like, is this like a real thing? And it turns out like, yeah, it's a real thing. Like it's super crazy. So this is like my dream job. I really enjoy doing it, and the cool thing is like I work at a company that I actually believe in. I thoroughly just enjoy the product, and the rest is history, man. It's awesome. Yeah. Do you have a CS degree? How do you learn to code? So I don't have a CS degree. I have I have an associate's in psychology, which is good for nothing. That's garbage. Yeah, don't do that. So I don't have a CS degree. And how did I learn to code? Mostly through YouTube videos, which there weren't really a whole lot back then. And Udemy courses, $10 courses, whatever I could afford, because I was broke back then. And like online articles, right? So like I think I spoke a little bit about this yesterday, is like I actually don't learn well with reading and stuff like that. Like reading is not the way that I learn. So yeah, like I was pretty much relying on any video or auditory content that I could find. And yeah, like I found a few things out there. It wasn't like a whole lot, but it was enough to get me going. And I'm just naturally like a problem solver. Like I got into Rubik's cubes before that, right? Like, and that's like, I think that's actually a pretty good sign. Like if you enjoy doing Rubik's cubes, then you might actually enjoy programming, because they're kind of similar in a lot of ways, because it's like a puzzle, right? Like your code is kind of like a puzzle. You're trying to put things together and you're trying to figure it out to get the end result. And yeah, like that's kind of how I see it. So yeah, I think it's pretty cool. I like to like make it pretty well known that I don't have like a degree or anything like that.
Here's something I found from WikiHow.
Alexa, shut up. Interrupting me? How rude. Like, yeah, like I like to make it pretty well known that I don't have a degree, and I think that like you know, I try to inspire people that came from a similar background to me, like where you might just be working at a restaurant and this is possible for you. So yeah, like I just want to make it, I want to make it known that like you can change your life. Like learning how to code changed my life. Life is 180 degrees just completely different, and different for the best, I think. Aiden says, "Hi Kilo, I've found that being a developer is more than coding. Are you going to explore the other areas?" Well, like what other areas did you have in mind, Aiden? I'm kind of curious, like, yeah, like being a developer is like more than coding, right? Like you have to have like soft skills. You have to be able to communicate and not be like a butthole to people, right? You have to, yeah, you have to be able to communicate. And generally, if you're going to be working for a company, you're probably going to be on a team. You need to be able to communicate pretty well. But other than that, did you have anything else that you were thinking about, Aiden? I can't find any tutorials on integration of YAML file with Swift. I've seen that before. Pretty sure Swift YAML. I've looked into that before. Swift YAML. There's probably like something on GitHub, I would assume. YAMS right here. I've looked into this because I was going to use a YAML file for, what was I going to use it for? Like a command line script that I was doing. Right here. Check out YAMS. JP Sim. I think I know this person. JP Sim. Or I've heard of this person. Sounds familiar. I think that they might know what they're doing, probably. Check out JP Sim YAMS. I think that might be one. Pull requests. Oh, okay, yeah. So pull requests, still kind of related to code, you know, like you still need to do code, but yeah, so there's like pull requests. I haven't really thought about covering that type of stuff too much on YouTube. I was thinking like more along the lines of like a course, because like that's very specific, but I might like actually look into that. So like pull requests, knowing how to work with Git and that whole entire workflow. You know, I think there's also like, it's also important to know how to take like good notes and stuff like that. And, you know, I'm also thinking about like, teaching y'all how to like create blogs and stuff like that. So I might look into some of those other areas. So that's a good call out, Aiden. What inspired you to teach others through YouTube, and what keeps you going? So I've always wanted a YouTube channel. I always wanted to be like YouTube famous, but like after years of doing this, I realized that, hey, it's not about being YouTube famous, but like what it actually was, after like doing some self-reflection, is that I wanted to be surrounded by people that had the same interests as me. And like, here I go. I keep talking again. We might not get to so much coding today. I'm not going to lie. I'm hanging out with y'all and I'm enjoying it. Like, yeah, I did some self-reflection like a couple years back, and I realized like, hey, like the reason why I'm actually doing this is because I wanted to be surrounded by like-minded people that really enjoy, you know, coding. That's why I say code passionately at the end of my videos, right? And I essentially just wanted to have friends that I could talk about and hang out with, and like, you know, we all kind of like the same things. And like, I swear, like, this past Friday was like the ultimate peak of anything that I could have wished for, right? Last Friday, it was Alan Weary's birthday, the facilitator of iOS, what is it, iOS Happy Hour, and it was his birthday, and we've been talking a lot lately, and I was hanging out with him, and we decided to play Call of Duty. We decided to play the game together, and I swear, like, being around iOS devs and playing a video game like Call of Duty, something that I really enjoy, like, my life life has never been better. This was amazing. And I was streaming it. Oh my God. I was streaming it too. So this was like all the things that I could have ever wished for as a kid just rolled into like one moment. It was amazing. It was so amazing. So yeah, just wanting to be like having more friends and like people that like enjoy the same things. That's pretty much what keeps me going. I'm entertaining the idea of developer advocate. It does sound like a dream job. I'm conflicted. I like doing tutorials and I like doing architecture for a large project. I mean, that's the thing, as a developer advocate, you usually can just do whatever you want. So nothing's actually stopping you from building out your own large project or working with other people to build out a large project and then just kind of writing about that experience. That's like something that a developer advocate can, or yeah, a developer advocate can do, you know? Like that's the awesomeness about being a developer advocate. There's so much freedom in it. Are you going to do videos about Dart and integrating AWS? Do you know if Amazon are going to make some libraries for Flutter? Well, we're actually working with a library for Flutter right now with AWS. So we're going to be using Amplify. So if you want a little bit more information about Amplify, here's a link to it. But that helps me get back on track with the coding because we are going to be saving stuff to AWS DynamoDB or Amazon DynamoDB using Amplify, which is a wrapper around these services to make everything so much cleaner. Yes. Do you think a developer changes his language and environment more than once? Yeah. You know, it's only natural to grow, right? Like people just get bored with stuff, right? Like after you've learned how to do everything in, let's say, Flutter, then like, well, you know, when you're coding stuff, like where's the challenge, right? So then you might want to learn how to do something different, like backend, or maybe you want to dig a little bit deeper into one of the platforms or something like that. So yeah, I don't think it's a problem to change more than once. What I will say is don't keep changing when you're just starting out. Like learn something pretty well, and then after you learn that thing pretty well, then feel free to jump around as much as you want. But like you need to have like at least one solid foundational skill is what I'll say. All right, so I think that we should be able to display this. I just need to go over to the session navigator, right? Session navigator. Maybe it's the app navigator. We could do it here, but I don't think that we need to. So what we will do is, if it's authenticated, then we can show the session navigation bar. I'm gonna have to come up with some different names because this is obviously not it. This is not it. All right, so let's run this. Let's see if we can get the session navigation bar to show. And if it does, or like if I did everything right, then we should, you know, that's the key word, right? Should. Because boy, when you program, you know that things don't always work as they should, or at least how you thought they should. How you thought they should, right? Yeah, so we have the bottom navigation item right here. And it looks like we're only working with icons, so I should probably put in a title. That's fine, though. And we have the scaffold right here. So this is kind of like a weird, I kind of feel like this is a little bit weird, like to make the bottom navigation bar, like maybe this should just be like the session view, right? Yeah, the session view. And then the session view would have a tab bar, and then it would also like determine which of these views we should be seeing, right? Something like that, something like that. Uh-oh, something broke. Failed length. What? Items.length is not true. Might be this. Okay. Let's see. Huh. You're gonna force me to have a title? Isn't that a little bit rude? Shouldn't be forcing me to do anything. Oh, deprecated, huh? Okay. All right, so then it has a label, and this is going to be, we'll just call this home for right now until, you know, Flutter stops complaining. And then we will have profile, right? Let's do that. Oh, okay, there we go. Okay, so then we need the actual selection. So that should be part of the bottom navigation bar. So on tap, index. Oh, excuse me. Woo, woo, boy. Oh man, okay. So when we tap on this, what we need to do is we need to update our qubit, our session navigation bar qubit, right? And we get that from the context, so we'll do context dot read dot oh, you're so annoying sometimes. Oh boy. When I forget how to do this stuff, it can be annoying. Okay, so then profile. Who taught you how to read? Boy. All right. So what we want to do is we'll remove these. Should we? Yeah, I think it's best to just select index or update index, void update selected index. It's going to take in an int index, then emit index like that. Copy it. Let's go back over to our session navigation like so. We do this, then we do this, then we do this like so. All right. So need a comma. There we go. Now we should be able to do this. Look at that. Oh, but what the heck? Okay, so then is there like a selected or let's see. Current index, okay. Current index is state. There we go. There we go. All right, it's working. I like it. I don't like the fact that it's loading every time. But that's fine. It's fine until, oh, okay. Yeah, it's fine until it's not. Looks like it crashed. Gonna have to look into that, but that's not what we're here for. All right, so now we got this. Let's go ahead and start adding stuff to our, let's set up our backend, right? So now, got to set up our backend, And we could do that by doing Amplify console. And I probably need to sign in. So let me go ahead and sign on in. All right, there we go. Let's open up the admin UI. Like so. We don't need this anymore. We don't need this anymore. All right, so here we are in AWS, and now what we're going to do is we're going to update our data model. So we have the user already. Don't need to do any changes there. But what we want to do is we want to add a new model, and this one's going to be called post, right? And the post is going to require that we have the avatar, no, not the avatar, the image key, right? So image key is going to be a string, and it's going to be required like so. Then we also will need to have like a description or a caption. A caption can be optional. Let's think. Let's think. How do I want to do this? Yeah, so we have the caption. So you have the image, you have the caption, and then what else do you have? Like on Instagram or something like that, right? We could have the creation date. That might be helpful to have. And this will be at AWS date time. Man, they've been making some improvements here. That's pretty cool. Okay, so then we have the creation date, and then let's think. Do we want to do like count? Sure, why not? Like count. There we go. So this is also required. So creation date is required. Yeah. So then we also need to have a relationship. So this is how you build relationships with Amplify, right? And it's actually, I actually really like the way that it's done here because that's pretty straightforward in my opinion. So we need so we have all that information, but then we also need the information about the person that posted it, right? So then we'll have like an author, or yeah, we'll call it author, and it's going to be of type user. And one post has one author, so it's going to be a one-to-one relationship, and we can do this. So we'll call it author. So now, and we're going to make it required too. So now we can create a post that has an author. It has an image key, so that's going to be like the image, right? The caption, that's going to be an optional caption. You may or may not have a caption. The creation date and the like count. That seems right. Yeah. And then we saw the user right here. So now we have that relationship tied in, and all we have to do is save and deploy. So let's go ahead and save and deploy. So this is going to take a little while. So while we wait for that, let's go ahead and start building out the actual post feed, because we need to do two different things, right? We need to, one, actually be able to save a new post, and then two, we need to be able to list them. What's going on, Elder? What's going on? Thanks for coming back. You're a real one. You be coming to hang out like every single time I stream, and I love it. I appreciate that, Elder. How's your Tuesday going? Because mine's going pretty decent. Pretty dang good, actually. Been able to hang out with y'all. Been able to, hang out, tell stories, things like that. I'm loving it. So, I'm doing really good. I am enjoying my Tuesday. I'm off to a much better start than I did yesterday. Yesterday I was an hour and a half late to the stream. Like, how are you gonna be late to your own stream though? But it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. All right, man. All right, let's go ahead and add in a scaffold to our feed view. And then what we're going to do is, well, how do we want to build this out? How do we want to build this out? Are we going to have an app bar? We most certainly are. So let's go ahead and create a function that's going to have widget. All right. What is Flutter? Sorry, I'm new to the stream. No problem. I am more than... Oh, do you code in Lua? That's a programming language, right? I feel like I've seen that before. So what is Flutter? So Flutter is it's a development tool that was released by Google. Flutter.dev maybe? Yeah. So this is Flutter. It's a cross-platform tool, or it's a development tool built for building cross-platform UI. You would use the programming language Dart. It looks a little bit like Java, and you are able to do, just like the same problem we've been trying to solve for decades now. You write in one code base, and then it's able to go on mobile, web, desktop, things like that. And it's actually relatively easy to get up and running. So like they even have like inline run your code here, and look at that. That's pretty cool. So yeah, that's what Flutter is. Okay, it looks like our backend has been successfully deployed. That's pretty cool. Now what we'll have to do is we'll have to pull those changes locally, but let's go ahead and get this app bar working, shall we? App bar like so. And we'll go ahead and return our app bar. It's going to have a title, text, and it's just going to say, well, what is it going to say? Home? We'll say posts for right now. And then like it will be up to whoever's implementing it to, yeah, like they'll be able to choose. Oh, cool. Yeah, Lua is a language. I mainly know Lua. Okay. So like what do you use Lua for? Because I've seen it before, but I don't actually remember. Is it one of those communications languages? Like built for like telecommunications or something like that? What does the leading underscore mean? Oh, good question. So in Dart, there's actually no access control. So like in some languages, you would have something like this where you would have like private, right? Or public. And it doesn't have that concept of access control in Dart, at least not right now. I kind of hope they change that. That's another thing I don't like about it. So what you have to do in order to make something private so that you can't see it outside of the feed view is that you mark it with an underscore, and that's kind of like saying it's a private function that can only be used within, like internally within the feed view, not externally outside of the feed view. Yeah, Elder already knew, man. He knew. Oh, kind of like Python Dunder? Not actually I am not actually familiar with Dunder. Dunder methods. I've actually never even heard of that. Dunder Mifflin? All right, Hemloka says so Lua is mainly used for simple games. I don't really know what it is used for. I just learned a lot of it. Okay, like how did you come across like Lua? Did you like specifically go out to look like to make like simple games, or like how did you like become a Lua developer? It's pretty interesting. Kilo iOS native is BMW. Flutter is Hyundai. I mean, Hyundai has come up a lot actually, though. I'll have to look into this later. What's going on, NetSpike? Good to see you back in here. Thank you for joining. Double underscore makes things private in Python. Oh, okay, yeah. So that it probably is like double under. Okay, yeah, got it. Silly me. Thanks, NetSpike. I am the best, aren't I? Nah, I'm definitely not. I'm definitely not. All right, let's get this app bar implemented. So now we should be able to see an app bar as opposed to just that purple screen. And if we can open up our simulator, we go back home, and I think I need to run it again. Yeah, there we go. What's going on, Wallison? Welcome back to the stream. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Elder does not like Flutter. He is saying that iOS native development is like a BMW X5 and Flutter is like a Hyundai Accent. Man, the distrust of Flutter is real. Woo. I really enjoy it though. I think it's a pretty cool language. Or framework, I should say, right? I think I like it though. I really like Dart though. I think if you gave Dart a chance, you might actually really like it. So why do I choose to factor out the app bar? Good question. The reason why I'm factoring it out is because like, if you don't, things get like really messy. Like Dart code can get so messy because it's like naturally whoa. Oh man, where was I? It's naturally doing these pyramids of doom type situations. And if you don't start factoring stuff out, it can turn into a real mess. You don't have to factor it out, but it's just something that I choose to do. It makes it a little bit easier because like if I didn't, right, like this is what it kind of starts to look like, right? So you do a build and then you have like this block provider thing, and then here's your first widget. So you're just constantly working with these widgets, and then they have children and children and children, right? Or a child and a child and a child. And it just keeps getting nested and nested. So like I could have done the login form. Like I did the same thing with the login form right here. I like refactored it out. Because like look at the login form, it also like starts getting a little bit deep, right? And then the login form has username fields, right? So I refactored those out. And if you take out a username field, it starts getting a little bit deep on its own too. So that's why I choose to refactor it out. It's just like something that I think makes it look a little bit nicer when things start to grow. Gonzalo says, hi all. And I'm saying hi right back at you, Gonzalo. Why do you choose? Yeah, I already went over that. I got you. Yeah, I find it hard to track to. Good approach, man. Thanks. So let's see. What were we going to do? We were looking at this. Okay, so now we can see our posts. And when we click over here, we can see our profile. Looking pretty good. Okay, this is good. So now what we want to do is we want to actually update our models, right? Because now that we have that changed backend, if I can find it, folder structure is becoming a mess too. So we only have the user, but now we need the actual post, which we have right here. So we just simply pull. If we run amplify pull, that will get us the latest. So amplify pull. There we go. Here it comes. And Shazam. And there it goes. So now we have our post.dart file, which is really cool. And we have everything in here. So now we can start working with our posts. So that's looking real slick like. What language is this? Wow, that looks nice. This is Dart. Yes. Thanks. Let's see. let's see. This is, yeah, I think we are good. So now what we need to do is we need to be working with posts. So we're going to need to have like a feed. We need to be able to, have a view that can create a feed. So let's go ahead and create a button on that set or on that feed view, right? We need to have a floating action button, widget, new post action button, like this. And we are going to that's not how you spell return. We are going to return, let's close this so we can get a little bit more room. We are going to return a loading action button. And when we press this button, what's going to happen? Well, we don't know that quite yet. Give me some time to think on it. Child is going to be an icon, if I know how to spell. So it's going to be an icon. It's going to take in icons, and this will be like compose, a pencil. I feel like compose should have been it. But let's see, new, or let's say post. Oh, okay. We have a post add. That looks good. Yeah, that looks good. And then if we do this. So one cool thing. So for those of you that are watching that aren't really familiar with Flutter, watch this. I want to show you something really cool. Something that I personally think is cool, I should say. So let me save this right here. Okay, so the app is running on this side, right? Now, Flutter has this feature called Hot Reload. And what you can do is you can write your code right here. And if you save it while the app is running, if you save it, you get stuff updated like in real time, which is, it's pretty cool. It is pretty damn cool. I'm not gonna lie. Like the fact that I was able to just write some code, save it, and then bam, it's right there on the screen. That's something that you don't get in native development that I seem to really enjoy. I just started with Flutter a few months ago. Last year I watched your AWS SNS tutorial, and now last week I did the AWS Flutter plus Amplify auth guide written by you. It's awesome how you code and teach. Thank you. Thanks, Gonzalo. I really appreciate that. I'm happy that I've been able to help you. Yeah, this is like, the way that I see it is, let's all come up together, right? Coding changed my life. If I can help you change your life, then I did what I was sent here to do. That's all there is to it. Good iOS guy never says that Flutter is better than iOS native, right, Kilo? Yeah, I wouldn't say that Flutter is better than native. I think that there are like a lot of scenarios that somebody might choose one over the other. The way that I look at it is like these are all tools that can accomplish jobs. Just because a nail and a screw can do a lot of the same things doesn't mean that they're always the right thing for the job, right? Like you can use a hammer and nail, or you could use like a screw gun, or what is it, compact driver and a screw, and you can fasten like two pieces of wood together, right? But there are scenarios where one might be preferred over the other. So that's kind of how I look at it. I don't think that anything is better than anything, and I don't think that you should let anybody make you feel like your selection is inadequate, because most of the time that's never the case. So yeah. So NetSpike has a question. Will the project be on GitHub today? So this project is on GitHub. Is it right? No, actually, this project is not available to y'all directly. What you can do if you're interested in the project is you can go to, what I'm coding here is for the hashtag 30 days of Flutter challenge, and I'm learning out in the open. So the stuff that's in the hashtag 30 days of Flutter challenge, I didn't know it before I started coding it out. So I do something like this, and then I teach y'all what I learned. It's yeah, like I don't know all this stuff. Like, so let me make that clear. Like, just because I'm able to put out videos on things doesn't mean that I know it. Like, I'm like a 100% professional or anything on this stuff. It's just that I go through the process of building this stuff out, and you know, I learn stuff along the way, and then like anything that I run into, I try to also bring up during the video as well. But like, I go through it, I learn it, and then I teach you, and that's kind of the idea. So if you want code that's very similar to this, but it's not this exact code, then go over to my GitHub repo. I'll actually paste it in the chat if you want it. So if you want to take a look at it, the social media app starts right here on day 21. This is when we start building out the login code. If you just want the latest, you can just check out either the social media app right here, which is like all the way at the bottom. It just says social media. It doesn't have a day associated with it. Or you could check out day 25, which is the latest code. But essentially, like, all the code that I'm writing here is over there, but it's like the code from the videos that I'm teaching in the playlist that I have on my YouTube channel. Okay. I think I missed a couple of your questions. I'm not gonna lie, that little icon above the profile looks a bit like a Google Docs thing. This one? Yeah, probably. I wanted to do the pencil. I need to find the pencil icon. Or just maybe a plus, right? I could just do add. Watch, we'll do it again, watch. We'll just do add, watch. Add. Oh, here we go, add a photo. Here we go, look it. Watch it, watch it. I'm about to save it, watch. 1, 2, 3, go. Oh, it broke. What happened? I don't even know what happened, actually. Oh, I think I accidentally put a breakpoint. Hold on. What is this? I don't know what's going on. I actually haven't seen this before. There it goes. I don't know what I did, but yeah, there's the plus. So fixed it for you. All right. So let me see. Marcelo says, "Hi Kilo, thanks for your videos and this live stream. Always a pleasure." Sorry that I'm not doing as much coding as I thought I would, but like I'm having fun with y'all, so I think it's all good. Are there a lot of jobs for Flutter devs out there? At the beginning of February, I think that there were like over 5,000 on LinkedIn. LinkedIn.com. And Flutter Jobs. I haven't been on here for a while. I think that there's a good amount. It's not going to be as much as like something like JavaScript, right? Like if you need job security, you could learn like something like React Native, and then there will be way more jobs than Flutter, right? But I think there's a healthy amount. I forgot how to look up like the amount, but yeah, there's a decent amount out there. How can run Flutter in 4 GB RAM laptop? It shouldn't be too crazy hard, because what I'm using is VS Code. So VS Code is like low RAM required, and then the hardest part is just dealing with the emulator. So I think you should be okay. When you start to play I'm not gonna be playing CS:GO. I'm telling you, like I'm a Call of Duty person. Sorry. Hey Felipe, it is live. Yes, I'm not pulling any type of trick on you. Yeah, no problem. That Spike. Hi, my name. Yes, Felipe. Yes. Hello, I'm new to the Flutter. How can I learn Flutter? Because I use React Native, but I don't know Flutter. So if you're looking to learn Flutter, this is what I'm actually doing right now, but I'm working through the hashtag 30 days of Flutter challenge. So not this one, but if you go if you go to my channel, there's like this there's this hashtag 30 days of Flutter, and this will teach you how to build out like apps. And then the last app is going to be this social media app that we're working through right now. So yeah, if you want to look, if you're interested in learning Flutter, I'm trying to like make it a little bit easier for you. I'm assuming that you have some programming experience, but no Flutter knowledge starting at day one. So yeah, some of the stuff might be a little bit redundant if you do have programming experience though. Let's see. I just started learning Flutter as well and would like to know, do you use Android Studio for IDE or VS Code for... Yeah, I use VS Code. The reason why I don't like to use JetBrains stuff is because it's pretty resource intensive, especially if I'm going to be doing live streams. Like, it just doesn't work really well. You know, like whenever I open up Android Studio to do like Android development, it's so much, it's like eating up so much RAM. Can you code Flutter from Windows? I am new to this. Yeah, so like you can code Flutter as long as you have access to, yeah, you can code Flutter on Linux, you can code Flutter on Windows or Mac, and you can actually make apps for each of those platforms too. You are clicked on, oh, I clicked on the breakpoint, that's what it was. Hey, Abrar, thanks for joining the channel, or joining the stream. I'm doing really well. This has actually been a really good Tuesday for me so far. As we speak, there are 967 Flutter jobs in the US. Oh, okay, so like maybe not that many. I was going based off of the number that was posted by the Flutter community. Like they said that there was 5,000. I don't know if that was worldwide. So 967, maybe not that many compared to like other languages, but there are jobs out there. Flutter better than React Native? No, I don't think that anything is better than anything. I think that everything has like its own thing. The thing for me is like I genuinely do not like JavaScript. I really just I hate it actually. So if you already know JavaScript, then you know React Native probably is the way to go. But you know Flutter has a lot of good things going for it. So yeah. How to send device to device notification in Flutter. Oh, device to device. Oh, okay. So this requires push notifications. That's not something that I'm actually going to be covering in this series. It's a little bit more involved, I would say. But there's a number of ways. The way that I'll probably be showing it is how you would do it with using AWS and Amplify as your backend. But there are probably like a number of ways to go about doing that. But that's going to be for a future video, I think. Do you have a video on how to set up for Flutter Dev for VS Code? If not, it's okay. You can please make one. I'm probably not going to make one, to be honest. I'm already swamped. I've been behind. Like this was all like I should have been done with this challenge and all of these videos and these live streams like 30 days ago. I'm like so far behind. But Flutter actually does have some really good documentation. So what I would do is I'd go to flutterdev.com or flutter.dev, I mean, go to docs and then getting started and set up an editor. So you could either go to install, like if you haven't installed Flutter yet, but set up an editor, and you said that you're interested in VS Code. So you just select that one. And if you go here, it should walk you through the process. I just followed this process. And I think it's like good practice for you to kind of get familiar with going through documentation and stuff like that. I was going to start with Flutter, but I decided to start with Kotlin to get my native knowledge first, then mess around with Flutter later. This stream popped up in my recommendation, so I had to hop on. Makes sense. Yeah, like I think that there's a lot of great paths. You said that you're getting started with Kotlin. I think that Kotlin's also a great language. It reads really well like English. I actually prefer Swift, but like that's because I'm an iOS developer and I have like a bias towards all that stuff. Yeah. But yeah, like it's I think Kotlin's a really good language because it's easy to read. And Swift and Kotlin are very similar in a lot of ways, like syntax wise, I would say. Oh, okay, you didn't see it. Yeah. So is that set up your editor? That's like a good place to start, I would say. Can you do some tutorial on Swift UI side menu? Did I do that one before? Oh no, I did side menu from scratch, and that's UI kit. Sure. So if you ever want me to cover something, what I'm going to do after I finish this 30 days of Flutter is I'm going to go back to my content section, and I'm going based off of issue, and this is how I'm going to start deciding like which videos I cover, right? What I will do is here at KiloLoco, like at github.com/KiloLoco/content, I'm going to go to my issues, I'm going to go to sort, and I'm going to go by thumbs up. Then if it has a thumbs up, then I'm going to consider the ones with the more thumbs up are the ones that I'm going to consider making first. It might not always turn out to be that way, but I will definitely try to prioritize doing that from now on. And you want this to be in Swift UI, so this is going to be iOS side menu Swift UI. All right, labels. So I can't guarantee that this one's going to come out like this week, but I will definitely try to get to it soon. So that's Swift and Apple. There we go. Submit issue. So if you're actually interested in seeing this one happen, then make sure you give it a thumbs up, and it will be higher on my radar because there's a lot of issues in here, but you know, the more thumbs up that it has, then the more likely I am to cover it. So then let's see. You think it's a good idea to use a WebSocket server to replace push notifications for some paid service? I think it kind of depends. I feel like sockets are definitely a little bit more reliable, but the problem is like, what exactly is happening in your app that you are using push notifications? Because I think the benefit to using push notifications is that you can awake the app in the background. Like, no matter what app the user's on, they're going to get a push notification, right? Whereas a socket, like, you need to actually have that app in the foreground in order for the socket to like stay consistently connected. Thanks a lot. I've seen some of your Swift UI tutorials. Those were great. Yeah, no problem. I actually might, excuse me, I might be making this in a new format. So I might experiment and make the side menu of Swift UI in a new format that will get you the information quicker and in a much like more concise video. And I think that it's actually going to be better. Kilo Loco's core data lesson, boys and girls. I haven't touched core data in a while, but I think my videos are still relevant. People seem to be still watching them and like leaving comments on them. So I think that they're still relevant and working. I don't think core data has changed too much, actually. Is it possible to deploy Flutter to iOS without the initial setup on an actual Mac? So iOS development in general, you kind of need a Mac. You can go with a Hackintosh, or you can also get like a server from what was it called? Mac Stadium? Mac Stadium. Yeah, like you can like probably get your code onto a Mac in Mac Stadium. This is also kind of expensive. I mean, if you can, just try to buy an old MacBook or something like that. Even if it's a MacBook Air, like you can still do it. It might take forever, but like if you're literally just deploying, you could get like an old MacBook Air or old MacBook Mini and make it work. But you kind of need a Mac in order to do any type of iOS development and get it deployed. Honestly, I wanted to start with Swift, but I need to save up for a Mac first. Kind of glad Kotlin and Swift are syntactically kind of similar. So if I do transition in the future, it wouldn't be that hard. Yeah, I would actually say that's pretty true. So like if you are, like keep in mind that you don't need the latest. A 2015 laptop, or my 2015 MacBook Pro I don't know how much it would go for. Let's see. I mean, we could probably find out right now. This is the joys of the internet. 2015 MacBook Pro. For sale. Let's see if we can find. Yeah, still pretty expensive, I guess. So 500. Interesting that it's so much. But yeah, like what I would do is I would look up Big Sur hardware requirements. And if you're looking to just get started, what I would do is I'd buy the lowest one that you can find. So I would probably go for either a MacBook Air 2013 or a Mac Mini 2014. Try to find one of those and see how much it costs. This way you can still have Big Sur on that device. You can work with the latest. It might be slow, but it should do the job, and then you can at least get started. So that's what I would say. You can also use CodeMagic for iOS deployment. Never heard of that. Let's find out. CodeMagic. Looking for a configurable CI/CD with intuitive UI. First thing that I always check is the pricing. I don't even know what this actually does, but okay, so it's doing it like a per minute situation. This can get a little bit pricey because it takes, yeah, well, I don't know. I suppose if you were pretty confident in what the app could do, then it would be relatively cheap. But yeah, this is one way to do it. Yeah, you can look into this. Yeah. What do you think the minimum requirement skills to get a job in Flutter development? I think if I had to guess, I would say like the requirement to get a job as a Flutter developer is like, it would probably be relatively low because nobody can be like that amazing at Flutter. Like, I mean, let me rephrase that. Flutter has only been out, I think, for about 3 years. So most people don't have more than 3 years of experience with Flutter, right? Now you could have been following it since before then, since it went GA, right? So you could technically have like 4 years or something like that. But yeah, like it's going to be you versus the person that maybe has 3 years, and that's if they have one of those people, right? So I think that if you have like just a couple of months, maybe even a year, or if you just have like a project that demonstrates your skill, you're gonna be in a pretty good situation. Sean J says, "Hey El Kilo, how you doing, bro? I'm doing really good, thank you. Been watching you from the day you took the leap. Thanks, thank you." Thanks for the long time viewership. Really appreciate it. Is CodeMagic somewhat equivalent to Fastlane? It sounded like that. It kind of sounded like that, but this sounded more like a CI/CD pipeline, whereas Fastlane kind of sets that stuff up, and Fastlane is more code related. I think they have some premium services, but like a lot of the stuff that you do with Fastlane is kind of code related. You think native is better or doing AKA cross-platform on Flutter is better? I think that they're about the same. I don't think that one is better than the other. I think that you're gonna hit different markets. Like you're gonna find different jobs. Like for the most part, you don't have super large teams, like super large FANG companies using Flutter a whole lot outside of Google. I don't think. That's not necessarily true. Like there are large companies using it, but I'm just thinking like in terms of the amount of jobs that are going to be available. So if you're looking to get hired at like a super large company, like a FANG company, you probably are going to end up wanting to go with native. But like if you're going to be working with smaller to medium sized company, or you're going to be doing freelancing or something like that, then that's where I think the Flutter market's actually going to be at. And then like everything else will just be native probably. Um, so I see, thanks for the insight. No problem. Xamarin versus Flutter. I actually haven't really touched Xamarin, and I don't really like the idea of XML. That's just me. Uh, what platform do you use to videocast? So I kind of went over this a little bit earlier, but I use OBS. And if you want to take a look at some of the settings, you can see the settings right here. I'm doing 30 frames per second, and I'm doing about 450 or 4500 bit rate. Hey Kilo, I am implementing block in one of our company's projects. PS, I learned from your videos. Awesome. So that's like one of the things that I like. That's like one of the things that like makes me feel like really good inside is when I hear that somebody's implementing an approach that I showed them at their company. It's like dude, I have code running at so many different companies that I don't even know about. Like that's so cool. Like obviously it's your code, but like I don't know. It's just like, you know, I don't know. It's just like a weird feeling. It's like, man, like I helped somebody do that. Like I think that's kind of cool. Which Mac would you recommend for long term? Do you think M1 is worth saving for? No. I actually have an M1 and I kind of hate it a little bit. It's not as fast or reliable as I thought it would be. If you are just getting started and if you are going to get a brand new, Mac, then yeah, M1 is like a pretty good choice because it's the cheapest one that you can get, right? So like if you go to apple.com, and the one that I have is the Mac Mini. It's this one right here, and like you can get started like for so cheap compared to like like relatively cheap, right? Like I know that $700 is not cheap, but like $700 for an Apple machine brand new is like relatively cheap, right? So yeah, and this is with the M1 chip. So like if you just need a computer, then feel free to go for it. The only thing is like I would recommend that you kind of upgrade and get the 16 gigabytes if you do get the M1, but there's so many problems that I ran into with the M1. It's just like I'm not recommending it for anybody right now. Yeah. I think M1X would be a beast for a long run. Yeah, I'm actually planning on selling my M1 Mac Mini and getting the Mac Pro, like whatever version of the M1X Mac Pro that they release, and that's what I want to get. I think that should solve all my problems. But I also like I'm doing live streams, right? And I'm also doing video editing and stuff like that. So my use case is a little bit different than the average developers. So just keep that in mind. Hi, sir. Can you do a video on AR in Flutter for face filters? Yikes. That's a lot of stuff that I don't know. So you're dealing with AR, you're dealing with filters, and all that is going to be wrapped into Flutter. That's a tough one. I can't promise anything. What I will do is I will add an issue for it so that I can eventually cover it, but that's a lot of stuff that I don't know. It sounds interesting. It's just like that's a little bit tough. So let's go ahead and go to content, and we'll create an issue for it. And we will do face filters in AR. That one is going to take a while to actually ever be able to do. But if it has a thumbs up, then I will, consider it higher on my priorities. So here you go. So I added it to the to-do list, Rizwan. Do you know contextual bandits? Contextual bandits. No, I don't know what that is. Contextual bandits. If I know how to spell. And reinforcement learning. What is that? What is this? Yeah, I don't know what this is. This looks like hardware stuff. Yeah, I don't know what that is. Hey man, can you tell me which keyboard you are using? Yeah, sure. Could unplug it. So it's this one. Let me see. This is, it's kind of weird that this is like see-through. It's not even green, but it's yellow, so I guess that makes a difference. So this is the Anpro 2 keyboard, a relatively cheap. It's a relatively cheap mechanical keyboard. It's pretty reliable. I like it. Wow, somebody's yelling. I hope that you're yelling out of happiness. All right, let's get back to the code. We got a lot of things open. And this was the last thing that we did, which was we deployed a new host model to Amplify. And now what we need to do is we need to create that feed. Let's see, we need to have feed events. Let me think. So yeah, let's go ahead and create a new event. Yeah. We'll have a feed event.dart, right? And we can do class. This is going to be, oh no, it's actually going to be an abstract class. Abstract class feed event, like that. And then we'll do this. And then what events are we going to have? So we're going to have the loading feed, right? So we'll have a class called loading feed, and that will extend our feed event. Or should it be like initial load? Initial feed, initial loading. Initial feed loading. Okay, so that's our first event, right? Initial feed loading. What's good, Kilo? Hope you're having a good day. I am. Thank you so much. Yes, I am actually having a really good day. It started off like I woke up to somebody that needed help on Discord, and they posted a GitHub issue that they had created, and I answered that. So I was like, bam, already right off the bat, like before I even got to shower, I'm still laying in bed, everything's dark, and I was able to help somebody. Boom. Then I was a little bit late to this stream, but I'm here now, and like all of y'all have been chatting with me, and I've been having like so much fun this morning. I can say that this Tuesday has been like definitely one of the better days, for sure. So I want to thank all of you for chatting with me, for hanging out with me. I just really appreciate it, coming to the stream, supporting me. Really appreciate all of the love. So thank you. Do you prefer Flutter for web or React? Because I only know Flutter. Well, I don't like JavaScript. So if I don't have to use JavaScript, I'm not going to. But all of web development is based on JavaScript. So yeah, I mean, I think Flutter for web is fine. I think that there's probably a lot more improvement to go, obviously, right? Like it's still relatively young. But yeah, like you're probably going to be able to do way more things with React. You're probably going to be able to find way more jobs with React. So that's just the reality of the situation. But I don't like JavaScript. Okay, so then let's see, when we have our feed, we have the initial loading screen, right? Then we have feed loaded success, feed load success. And then this will extend our feed event. Wow, there's a lot of things that happened here. What happened there? Okay, and then we need to have like the actual post, right? So we have our post inside of our feed. So that's going to be a list of posts. Remember, we just generated that object. List post posts, plural, like this. And this is actually going to be final. And we need to import this like so. And then we need a constructor that's going to create our feed load success. This, posts like that. Okay, so then we have the other option that can happen, which is feed load failed extends feed event, and this is going to have its very own exception, and we'll create a constructor for this feed load failed, and then we're just going to pass in the exception, and this dot exception is equal to exception, like that. Okay, looks good. So I think that's all we need for the moment so that we can just get up and running. Let's see. You just gained a sub for saying you don't like JavaScript. Oh, shit. Yikes. Thank you for the sub. I'm not sure if that's the way that I want to I want to grow the channel, but I'll take it. Legit don't know how people use it. Oh boy. Oh man. Yeah, it used to be in robots you see okay, I don't, that's you're talking to them. Okay, a logical question in Flutter. I have to add dynamically an item to a page view, and that would contain a text field, and user can add multiple page view items. Each one has text field. How I use block here. Okay. I have to add an item dynamically to a page. Have to add item dynamically to a page. Okay. And that would contain a text field, and user can add multiple page view items. Each one has text field. Huh. I'm not really understanding the question, but if you're interested in getting started with block, you know, I've been covering that a lot in this series. So, let's see. I think a good video for you to watch might be, yeah, whoa, not this one. Where is it? Where was I? Jeez. Come on, YouTube. Let's just take a look at the videos. So I'm not sure exactly what you're going through, but this profile UI plus block might be one to consider since you're dealing with text fields. So maybe this one will help you. Let's see if I could. There we go. Copy it. There we go. So feel free to check this one out. AJ, I think that one might help you. What's going on, Roliandro? Thanks for joining the stream. Yeah, everything's all good on my end. I'm having such a great day. Everybody's chatting with me. We're having fun today. Loving it. How is your day going? I watched your series. Wait, I'll explain. I have to add a list item when a user clicks on a button. That item would have a text field. Okay, so yeah, so then you'll kind of see that, like, we're kind of working through something similar to that right now. The only difference is that, like, whenever you have an update in your state, right? So, like, let's say that you have items, right? So items, posts, very similar. Feed load success, posts right here, right? So once you have those, once you have that event, what you want to do is you want to map that to a state. So let's go ahead and start creating a state. So is it even under this one? Yes. I need to start building out a better folder structure because, oh boy, is this a mess. State. So then what we would have is, let me think. We have the loading, the success, and the failed. So what we would have is an abstract class. Abstract class like this. And then you would have your feed state, right? And then you would have the different feed states that you could have, right? So what could we have? We could have the feed error state. Let me think. Actually, it would probably be better to just have a full state object, not to have several. So we'll just do it like this. So feed state like this, and then we would have the posts. List, and then we would have posts like that, and then it would be posts like that. Final. So let's say that you would have your items in your state. when you get your state back, what you would do is you would have like a list view.builder, and in that builder you would just simply have widgets that also contain a text field. So whenever this feed, or whenever your list updates, right, you would just have like another user, and that user, whenever you see, like, for each of the users that you have in there in the list view.builder, you would just have like a text field associated to that object. So I hope that helps. Hope that helps a little bit. Let's see. So we can also have an exception. Do we want to do the exception in here too? Yeah, I think so. So let's go ahead and do a final exception like this. And then what else are we gonna have? Let me think. Well, we're just gonna have like the list, and then if it has an exception, then we'll display that in like a little snack bar thing, right? Let me think. Yeah, I think that's all we need for right now. So then we can create our feed state constructor like this. We'll do this dot post, and let me think. Oh, you know what? The event should just be initial. So we'll do initial like this. Then we'll do loading. Actually, we should have two. Like, so we have initial feed class loading feed extends or we should like load feed. Yes. I think we want to do it like this, and then we can do extends and a feed event like that. And I think that should be okay. And then now we'll have the feed state right here, and then we'll also have this dot exception like that. And we should be good. So now we'll have the post and the exception if there is one, and no, this is not what I want to do, right? Is it? Can't even think anymore. So let me see. How did I solve this problem in the past? I know that I was doing this before in one of the other videos. So we can just go back over to GitHub. See, this is why it's beneficial to have your stuff online. You could just kind of look it up really quickly. And where did we get started with block? So we did it with the Pokédex. Okay, cool. So the Pokédex, now I could take a look at how I did it on the lib, because we did something extremely similar. And we have the Pokemon state. So what kind of states did we have? We had load in progress. Okay, so this is what my confusion was. So these are the things that I wanted to have. So then what are the different events that I had? We had the Pokemon event, and then we have the Pokemon page request. Okay, so we're just simply requesting that we have the page, and got it. Okay, so let's go ahead and change this up a bit. Now, what we want to do is we'll do abstract feed, load initial feed, extends feed event, and we could potentially even use an enum to represent these, but I'm going to start with a class first, or a block first. So then we have the load initial, and then load next page, and this extends feed event as well. And the reason why we're going to do this is because we want to have like pagination in our feed, right? So like when we get, we only want to get like maybe like, let's say the first 20 posts. And then what we want to do is we want to increase our index and get the next post, right? So what we'll do is we'll load that actual next index, and so we'll load next index, and then that will get the next 20. So then we'll say final index, or int index, like that. And then we need to have our load next page constructor, this, which is this dot index, like that. So now we have the two events. That makes better sense. I was like, something felt wrong, you know? Something just felt wrong. So then what we need to do is we always need to keep track. We always need to keep track of that next index, right? Because we want to increment that value. So then let's take a look at the state, and as opposed to doing it like this, because the problem when we do it like this is that if we get the page load failed, then the entire thing is just wrong, right? So then we just get an error, and then we no longer have those Pokemon listings. So we can have sub values or some type of properties that represent each of these things for us. So I think that will actually work for us. So then we can have our feed state. I don't know. What do y'all think? Like, are you, and also I'm also curious, like, are you all, when you write Flutter, are y'all using block as well? Because I also noticed that, Riverpod seems to be getting much more popular too. And then there's also people that just, prefer to work with provider, which is all obviously like, like, like the default, right? So I'm kind of curious, what are y'all working with? But block seems to be the most popular from what I've seen. But yeah, so we have our feed state, and then what we would have is we still have the list of posts, so that doesn't change. And this will be final like that. And then we also have an exception. We could have the exception. Do we want the actual exception, or do we want the error message, right? So maybe like a string instead, string error message, like that. That kind of looks a little bit better in my opinion. Let's see. Then what else do we have? Is loading. Bool loading initial feed, and this is going to be final as well, and we want to set this as a default value of true, right? Yeah, so when you start off, you are initially loading out the feed, so we want to set that to be true. And then what other things can happen? So load in progress, and then loading next page as well. Final bool loading next page as well. All right. Oh, we're at the top of the hour. Probably only going to go for a little bit longer. Okay, so Thought Palace says, new to Flutter, but trying to learn Riverpod / provider with Firebase. Most beginner courses I've encountered use provider. I think I heard you say in a stream that block scales better. Yeah, so this is something that I've also noticed, is that like when it comes to scale, a lot of people, talk about block. And the problem with block is that the way that it's being shown in a lot of other places, everywhere that I can find online, it's made to be like so much more complicated than it needs to be. Like they try to show you all the cool things, all the like what will happen, and what I've seen a lot of is they're going to show you how to either set it up with a counter app, which is just not practical, like transferring the knowledge. The counter app does not help whatsoever, right? Like showing me how to increment something or decrement something is not helpful in my opinion. So that's why I decided to show how to do it with a networking request, right? A very simple networking request. So yeah, and it can be extremely simple if you start to use qubits as well. So getting started with qubit, I feel, is like a really easy way to get into using block. And if from what I've heard, block continues to scale, then yeah, why not go with block? If it's being used on bigger projects at, companies and things like that, then why not go with block? But yeah, so I've seen Riverpod kind of getting some traction, and then also providers like the default too. So yeah, I'm just going with block for right now. I mean, it seems pretty cool. It seems like a good choice in my opinion. So there's that. So now we have to create this feed state constructor, and we'll just do this .post, which is going to be equal to empty. Can we even do that? Let's go ahead and let's just get these out the way first. This .error message, this .loading initial feed, and then this .loading next page, like so. So then can we also give them default arguments like this? No. Okay. So if we want to use default arguments, then what we have to do is we have to make it like this. List of post, like that. Ooh, this also doesn't work. Oh, or is it because it's not a const? There we go. Okay. No. Okay. Loading initial feed is equal to true by default, and then loading next page is equal to false by default. There we go. All right. Lisa, I'm not really sure what you're saying here. Sorry. And then remember that when we're working with our state, we want to be able to change properties or values on it without remember that we are going to be yielding out our feed state and updates to our feed state. And since these are all final, we need to create a new feed state constructor that's called feedstate.copy with, or copy with, like that. And then we take in anything that can be changed. So that's going to be post, list of posts, posts, error message, bool for the loading initial feed like that, and then a bool loading next page. So loading next page like this, and now there we go, nice and clean. We can do we can simply return our feed state like this, and we'll say posts is equal to posts else this dot posts, right? Then we do the same thing with the error message this dot error message. Then we do the same thing with loading initial feed this dot loading initial feed. Then we do loading next page loading next page this dot loading next page. There we go. And finish it off with a semicolon because we ballin'. Not really, I don't like semicolons. All right, so now that we have the feed state, let's go ahead and throw it into a feed block. Oh, actually, we had feeds right here. Look, we could have been putting all this stuff in the right spot. So feed event goes in the feed. Let's move you here. We're gonna move you here. Move you here. There we go. Now we can do a feed block dart, and we can do class feed block like this, extends, and we are going to be extending block, and a block takes in, you already know it, a feed event and a feed state. So yes, And remember that when we're working with that feed block, we have to add the constructor. So then we have to do the feed block. We're not going to take anything in for right now. And then we need to do super, pass it an initial state, which we should be able to just do feed state like this. And whoa, not the crying. No, don't be crying. And then we also need to add the map event to state function, which is unimplemented. So we'll leave that right there. And now we're pretty much set up to actually use our feed block inside of our feed view. So if we go over here, we can actually, well, we don't actually have it on here. So now we can do a let's see, where did we add our block provider at in the profile? Was it at the scaffold level? Oh, it's above the scaffold level. Ooh. Okay. So what we'll do is we're going to return our block provider. We're going to add that context. Whoa. Context like this. We're going to create our feed block like that. Then we're going to give it a child. Ooh. Put a baby in them. And let's go ahead and remove that. We can remove the return. We can do, let's see, it should be something like this and this and this. There we go. Oh, and a comma. Bam. So now we have our feed block being provided, and we should be able to access it anywhere lower. So that's looking pretty snazzy, if you ask me. Then we can add a new widget, which is going to be the feed list, or I guess maybe post list, the feed post feed, I guess. I don't know. English is feeling kind of weird today. Post feed. And we'll return, first we need to access our block builder, right? So we get our block builder, we're going to be building out our feed block like that. And our feed block works with a feed state like that. Then our builder takes in a context, ooh, and a state, ooh, and it will return our list view. So let's go ahead and stretch this out. You know, we like to stretch it out a little bit, and we return a list view dot builder. We pass in, first we need to do items count, because oh boy, have I seen the consequences when you don't do items count, and it is not pretty. So state post dot length like that. And then what we also need to do is we need to include the actual item builder, right? Item builder takes in a context, and it will take in a function like this, and then it will be expecting that we return some type of widget, which is going to be a list tile probably. Let's see, item builder and maybe the post. Oh, I think this is index actually. So is this the index? I kind of forgot. It's been a minute. Yeah. Okay. So then we have the index, and then we need to access the specific post for that specific index, right? So then we'll say final.post is equal to state.post, pass in the index, and bam. Now we have the post. So what we will do is, let me think. What we can do is for the, I'm not sure if I actually want to do it like this. Well, I'm not sure if the list tile is going to work the way that I want it to, because I'm about to stretch it out all nasty like. Let's see. Subtitle is going to be text. And we will pass in the state, or no, we'll pass in the post dot description, no, the post dot caption, or just an empty string. Yeah, there we go. So then we have the subtitle, and then the title. Let's see what happens. The title will actually be the image. Oh, okay. So that's also another thing that we have to take into account, is that we don't have the actual image path. What we're going to need is we're going to need to download that from the image key. So what can we do? So let's think. We need to actually we need to actually get the image path when we download the image. So let's start building it out in our data repo. But first, let's go ahead and make sure that all this stuff can build without a problem and we don't have nasty red squigglies all over the place. So what we'll do is we're going to head over to, not feed, but we do have a data repository somewhere in here, and the storage repository too. But I want my data repository. Right, somewhere in here. There it is. Okay, so now what we can do, and I don't know, should I be like splitting this up? I kind of feel like maybe the data repository should be split up. Like right now I have it able to access our database to get like our user object, not our authenticated user, right, which is like tied to auth. But I kind of feel like, you know, one of the better practices would be to like have another abstraction on top of this data repository, one that's specifically for users, the other one that's specifically for posts. But that does get like a little bit hard to deal with. I think for the time being, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to continue with having everything in here, but I feel like there is a better way to go about it. Anyways, what we're going to do is we are going to get a list of our, we're planning on getting back a future list of posts, right? Like that. And then we'll call it get posts. And we're just going to return all the posts. Actually, we need to get posts index. So we need an int index, because we're going to have pagination going in here, I think. I still need to decide if I want to do pagination or not. It might be like a little bit, you know, it's only like an extra line of code, but like explaining that concept and showing it in a video could get a little bit tricky. Not sure how I want to go about doing that. So gonna definitely rethink how I do that. So yes, let's go ahead and do amplify. Oh, well, let's go ahead and wrap this in a try catch block, right? Try catch. One of the worst things about switching languages, going back and forth, is that when you do this type of thing in Swift, you actually write do right here. And I keep writing try because I've been doing so much Dart programming. Let's go ahead and throw this error just so that we can know what's going on. We can handle it somewhere higher up the food chain. And then what we're also going to do is we're going to get our posts from this bad boy right here. So in order to do await, we need to do async like this, and we'll do amplify dot datastore dot query, and then we're going to get the post class type. And then we can also do, I don't know how to do pagination yet, query pagination. So let's go ahead and create a query pagination. See if I could just do one. Nope. We're going to do it like this for right now, and then I'll go back and I'll fix it. So we have the posts right here, and what we will do is we will return those posts, right? What type is this? This should be a list of posts. Yeah, boom, like it. All right, so what I want to do is I actually want to look at the pagination. So docs, Amplify. Let's go ahead, go here, libraries, data store. Let's go ahead and manipulate data. Hemloka is asking, when do you usually stream? So I've been kind of playing with my stream schedule, and I'm actually curious, like, when do you all kind of want to watch a stream? Like, are you, and where are you watching the stream at? Like, are you at work watching the stream, or is the day over for you already and you're watching it at night? Or like, do you just not have work or school right now? So what are all of y'all doing? And like, what part of your day is this that you're watching the stream? So I actually just set up my schedule to where I'm going to be streaming in the mornings, like right when I wake up. So right now it's 8:20 a.m. for me, and I started the stream about 2 hours ago because everybody's in a different time zone. I'm in the Los Angeles time zone in the States. So my plan is to stream 2 hours ago, like whatever the time it is for you right now, but 2 hours prior to that, right? And then I will be streaming at that time. So right now it's 8:20 for me. So what time that is for you, I'm going to be streaming at like 6:15 or 6:20, right? 2 hours before right now. And then I will be doing that Monday through Thursday. And then I also might do some streams later on in my day. So like in like 4 hours from now, I might do another stream. I'm not sure. So I'm just kind of curious, like what are y'all doing when you're watching the stream, and like what time is it for you when you watch? Let's see. So I'm with two screens, one job, one at the stream. I'm in Chile. Oh, okay. And right now it's 12:20 p.m. for Gonzalo, and he's in Chile. So for Gonzalo, I would be streaming at about 10:15 p.m. or no, 10:15 a.m. for him, Monday through Thursday. Jimmy Bond, 8:20. You're West Coast? Yeah, I'm West Coast. I live in California. It doesn't matter for me. I'm usually at home or on the bus. I live in GMT time zones. For me, it's 4:20. So 4:20, I would start my streams at about 2:15 p.m. for you. Taking a break from learning CCNA license. CCNA. What is CCNA? I forgot what that is. Yeah. Cisco stuff. Yeah. That's some top level stuff, or actually low level stuff, huh? Like networking and stuff. That's really cool. Suresh says, hello bro, can you tell me how I can use Flutter in VS Code? Yeah, I think I just covered this. Somebody had asked a little bit earlier, but what I would recommend is you go to flutter.dev, you go to the docs, and then you do get started, and then you go to setup in editor, and then you select Visual Studio Code. And they have like a pretty good, it's not too much to go through. Like, as you can see, it's like not too crazy. And then you should be good to go. So I'll paste the link there for you, Suresh. So hopefully that helps you out. 10:21 a.m. for you. Jovane or Hovane or Hovane. I'm not sure how to pronounce your name. I'm sorry. But for 10:21 a.m. for you, then I would be streaming at 8:15 a.m. Monday through Thursday At home, East Coast, 11:21. So I would be streaming at 9:15 a.m. for you, Thought Palace. Yeah. Yeah, no problem, Suresh. Always happy to help y'all. That's what I'm here for. So let's go ahead. Oh, that's what I was looking up. I was looking up how do I do this thing with pagination. So we have the query data, and I want to do pagination. Oh, okay, here we go. Query pagination, like so. So let's go ahead and create, oh, wait, pagination, okay. So now we'll have another argument called pagination. We'll do query pagination, and we'll do page 0 limit. Let's just do 50. I think that's a pretty reasonable limit. And the only problem is that we're not picking up this query pagination. Let's see if we could import it. No. So we might need to do another import somewhere up here, but how can we get this imported? It should be part of, well, let's get rid of this. Should be part of the data store. No, data store right here. I would think that if we import this, that would work. Let's find out. Let's find out together. If not, somebody's gonna have some splaining to do. Some real splaining to do. Yeah, see, look at, why can't we get this query pagination in here? Strong dislike. Also, something that I've noticed is that, like, sometimes VS Code doesn't pick up all the stuff. So, what the heck? VS Code, you just crashed on me. Okay, that's okay. I was going to close it anyways. Sometimes VS Code doesn't always pick up all the different things, all the different packages, and sometimes it's like missing stuff. So there's that. We were in our data repository, and would you look at that? Query pagination seems to work. So, oh no, it doesn't. Okay, well, let's see if we could get the fix for it. Huh, can't do that either. One last thing that we could try. Huh. Let's see. Yeah, I'll probably talk to the team and find out like what's going on here. Why is it so hard to do a query pagination? It's not giving me my thing. I need help. Somebody save me. Somebody save me. All right, yeah, it doesn't look like it wants to work, so I'll have to come back. I'll loop back when I figure out how to get that working. And we'll save it like this for now. We'll get all the posts. We won't paginate it for now because we don't even have any. And then we also need to be able to create a post, right? So when we created a user, we're passing in specific things. And then, let me see. When we create a user, we're not creating the user outside. We're creating it by passing in specific values, and then it spits out a user. So we can do something very similar to future, and it's going to return not a user, but a post. If we want that, which I don't think we are, but create post, and it's going to take in the image key, so that's going to be a string, image key, and then it's also going to take in a caption, which is going to be a string caption, like that. And then what we can do is we can create that post, new post, and we'll create it like this, post, and then we'll say, oh, we also need the user. And we'll do user first. So user post. Okay, so we're going to create a new post. We need the image key. We'll pass in the image key. Creation date is going to be a temporal date time dot now. Yeah, there we go. And then we know that the likes count is going to be set to 0 by default, and the user or the author is going to be the user, right? Current user. So now that we have this new post created, we can start with our try catch block. So then we're just going to await, and this means that we need to do this and then async like so. And we're going to await for Amplify data store to save the new post like that. So now after that saves, what we'll do is we'll simply return the new post. Yes, we'll return the new post. We'll catch the error, and we'll also throw that error as well. So now we're able to throw the error, or we're able to create the new post and throw the error as well if we do run into an error. And this is looking pretty snazzy, if you ask me. So let's make sure that we are including, since we need access to the current user, we're going to need to inject our session, or at least the current user, into the post qubit, and then or the feed block, and then we also need to inject the data repository into our feed block. So what I want to do is first I want to take a look at profile block, and I want to see how I handled getting the user, because I know that I passed it in right here, right? And then I'm saving it right here. And I think I'm actually, yeah, I'm just passing it in. Okay, so I'm passing it in, and then if I needed to update that, I don't know how I would do that, but oh, you know what? It's being updated. Okay, yeah. Makes sense. Okay. So let's go over here to our feed block, and what we need to do is we need to update the dependencies. So we need to hang on to, let me think. Is the user part of the state? No, we just need to hang on to the user, but we don't need it to actually be part of the state, and it shouldn't actually be accessible, really. So we'll hang on to that user, and then we will also need access to the data repository as well. So let's go ahead and do final data repository, and we'll just call this data repo. And then we'll do also final current, or we'll do final user, current user, excuse me. Oh my goodness. So we have these two. Now, when I want to create this object, what I need to do is I need to pass both of them in. So we'll do this dot data repo and this dot user, current user. Sudanshu, hey, how's it going? Welcome to the stream. Thanks for chilling with me. Really appreciate it. How's your day going? Mine's going quite all right. Quite all right, if I might say so myself. All right, so now, what we can do is we can handle some of these events. Hey, Tuladar Ready, welcome to the stream. Thanks for joining. Sorry if I butcher your names. I apologize. But welcome. Thanks for hanging out. So let's go ahead and switch over some of these events, right? So we can have the event be, if the event is, let's take a look at some of the events that we can choose from, right? So we have the load initial feed, and then we have the load next page, right? Is load initial feed, else if event is load next page. Doing good. Got our app into production today. Been a hectic one. Oh, that's awesome. What kind of app did you launch? Dang. I really want to I want to release an app too. Haven't been able to work on anything. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, okay. Glad. Okay. You're good at Flutter. Thanks, Uday. And welcome. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, I'm still learning. I think we're all kind of still learning Flutter, right? Like it's still relatively new. And I'm learning the block pattern. So yeah, it was work related. That's still like a big deal. I think, even if you launch a new app at work, I think that's still really cool. But hey, like if you don't feel like it's like a big deal, then that's fine. But I think it's pretty cool. 3D renderer of some sort, can't disclose all of it. No problem. No problem. That sounds awesome though. Crazy that you have like a 3D renderer. And is it in, did you say that your app is in Flutter too? Or is it just like, I don't think you mentioned what type of app it was, but that does sound pretty awesome. In the Amplify Data Store example, there is an Amplify Data Store plugin interface. I don't know oh yeah, maybe that's probably it. Interface. I always forget about that one. That is a good call out, Gonzalo. You nailed it. Where is it? This is another reason why I love doing the live streaming, because sometimes y'all think about stuff that I just don't think about. Amplify. Oh, I hate when the autocomplete doesn't work. So Amplify Data Store. What was it called? Interface. Amplify Data Store plugin interface. Yeah. There we go. So now we can probably create a pagination, and this will be a query pagination. Paginate. Oh man. I would guess that's probably it. Looks like it worked. Yeah, I think that was it. You nailed it. Gonzalo freaking came in clutch. There it is. All right, so 50, and we want the index, or the page to be the index right there. Oops, cancel. Save. Nailed it. Yes, this was the thing. Thank you so much. You freaking nailed it. Alex from Russia is here. What's up, Alex? No, it's completely coded in C++. Ooh, you be working with that C++. How do you like C++? Is it like is that your only language that you code in, or do you code in anything else? Whoa, you joined late. Yeah, just a little bit, but just so you know, in the future, I'm planning on streaming Monday through Thursday. So whatever time it is for you, take that time, subtract 2 hours, and that's when I'm going to be streaming. So right now it's 8:37 for me. Let's just say it's 8:30 a.m. for me. I will be streaming at 6:15 a.m. So 2 hours and 15 minutes from now. So yeah. Can Flutter be integrated with Django? Well, Django's a backend, isn't it, for Python? or PHP. No, it sounds like a Python thing. Python. Django. Or maybe I should just type in Django tutorial. Yeah, it's Python, right? So I suppose like if you're working with the backend, like that's just where you get your data from, right? Like I'm getting my data from AWS Amplify, right? So as opposed to doing something like Amplify data store.save, you would do like your networking request up to your Django server, and you would code, like you would do whatever API thing that you wanted to do, I think. That was a hand in return for your help. Well, hey, that's what we're here for, right? We're here to bring everybody else up with us. And thank you, Gonzalo. You freaking nailed it. You helped me out so much. Thank you. Hey, Alex. Yeah, I'm doing really good. Today has been a really good day. Been hanging out with y'all for quite some time. Yeah, and it's just like been like a really good day. Thank you. Hope you're having a good day too. What is stack development? I am 14 years old. Please explain to me. So I don't really know what you are referring to. Like, I haven't really heard of stack development personally. There are development stacks, which, when you hear somebody say a development stack, that means like the tools or the hardware or software that you're using in order to build out an application. So usually it consists of like what operating system that you're running on, and what programming language that you're using, and what framework are you using with that programming language. Yeah, like in terms of, I don't know if stack development is actually something different than that. But usually it's just like, what tools are you using to build your app? And if that's what you're asking, like what my stack is, like when you hear somebody say like, what stack are you using? In this case, I'm using Dart and Flutter. I guess you could just say Flutter. Then for my backend, I'm using AWS Amplify. So that's kind of my stack, Flutter with Amplify. And how deep you go into like all the different acronyms is kind of up to the person. I know Java, C++, and JavaScript, but complete C++ at work. Oh, got it. That's cool. You know them OG languages, huh? Any interest in any of the newer languages, like something like Dart, like which is what we use for Flutter, or like Swift or Kotlin or anything like that? Or even like TypeScript, since you already know JavaScript? Tuladar says, thanks for your help. I'm not sure if you're thanking me or somebody else, but if it was me that helped you, then I'm always happy to help. You're welcome. How new is Dart? Dart is about 8 years old. Maybe 9 by now. Let's see when it came out. Dart programming language. 9 years ago. So yeah, October 10th. It's almost 10. The only thing is that it wasn't really used for anything before Flutter came out. So Flutter's only about 4 years old. Let's see. May 2017. So yeah, about 4 years old, and I don't think that there was a lot of use cases for using Dart before that. Is Dart can be used for backend development? Probably. I'm sure that you can. Everybody puts everything in the backend nowadays. You can probably do backend development with Scratch. If you know what Scratch is, Scratch programming. You could probably do backend development with Scratch. I bet you somebody has done this before. Yes, I'm learning Flutter Dart as well, and also do some coding with buddies in Python after work. Uh, that's awesome. Do I know Russian? No, I don't know Russian. I actually don't really know any other languages other than English. I know some Spanish, but that's about it. I'm just your typical American that just only knows English because too ignorant to learn anything else. Now, I would like to learn different languages, but I actually don't really know anybody that speaks Russian, so it wouldn't be like high on my priority list to speak Russian. I would probably want to learn. I'd probably want to learn like Chinese, if anything. Like that'd be a really cool language to learn really well. Chinese or Japanese. Chinese because like I think that's one of the second most popular languages for business and stuff like that, and then Japanese because of anime. Even though that's not like real Japanese. Which is the best platform to write HTML to make websites? Well, so once again, I'm not really understanding the question all the way. Platform. I'm not really sure what you mean by platform. Are you talking about like a framework, or are you talking about like text editor? I'm guessing maybe a framework. I'm not sure. I don't do web development too much. So, do I know Russia as a country? Yeah. Yeah, I've never been there. I know where it's at. It's in Asia. I know it's up there. I know it's probably cold. But, I mean, yeah, I don't know too much about it. But, yeah, I know of it. It's a pretty relevant country. Like in at least in U.S. history, Russia is brought up quite a bit. So, yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and get into this last piece before we close out, because coming up on like 2.5 hours, and boy, it's getting rough. So, event is load initial feed. So then, what we want to do is first we want to yield out a new state. So we'll do state, or hold on. Let's see. Yeah. Oh, it's not doing yield because I don't have that async star, of course. All right, so then we yield out a new state dot copy with, and then we're gonna say, let's take a look at our state one more time. This is not the right state. We want the feed state, boy. So load initial feed is true. So let's go ahead and set that to true. Load initial feed is true. Then what we're going to do is we're going to access our data repo, and we are going to get posts, and this is going to be the 0 index since it's the initial one. Get posts. Right? And we'll do final posts is equal to this, and we'll await for it, and then we will yield state.copy with, and then we'll pass in our posts, and loading initial feed is false. So then we'll be ready to display that information, and then, yeah. So now let's see. Yeah, I think I'm gonna stop it right there. I think I am going to stop it right there. Because in order to connect all this stuff, we still have to like do injection, because we're going to need to access the data repository. We're going to need to pass in the user. We're going to need to update the states, show the list and things like that. So I think I am gonna pause it right there. There are a couple more questions in the chat, so I'm gonna cover those, and then we're gonna cut it out. We're gonna end the stream. So if you have any last questions before I take off, feel free to ask them now. I'm also going to plug my Discord. If you want to ask questions there or hang out there, then feel free. That's also going to be somewhere that you can leave the information. So yeah. So let's see. Okay, bro, are you sitting or standing? I am standing up. I don't really have a way to show you this, but I am standing up. I don't have a chair behind me. Okay. I have a standing desk. I feel like it's better for my energy when I'm on camera, when I'm like doing my video, or when I'm just doing a live stream. I just feel like it's better. I'm also fat, like I'm 270 pounds. That's like 125 kilos. And yeah, if I could get any type of calories burnt, then I definitely need to, because I'm not very active. Yeah. Would you recommend Block over Provider or Riverpod? I started using Block, but I just think it is too much boilerplate. Yeah, so I actually chose Block because it is the most popular. There is a lot of boilerplate, but I don't think that it's any more than what you would do with Provider or with Riverpod. So I think it's about the same amount of boilerplate. I don't think the boilerplate part is going to be the deal breaker. I would say that the complexity can definitely be a deal breaker. Riverpod, I feel, is like extremely simple to get up and running. The fact that you're just working with these like these global type objects, I think it makes it super easy. But Block can be easy if you get to learn qubits first. And I think I shared this. I shared the video earlier, but I'm gonna share it again because I think that I mean, obviously I have a bias, but I think that I do a pretty good job of explaining how to get up and running with Block. That makes sense. That's not overly complicated, because everybody either wants to show you how to do a counter or how to do something extremely complicated. And I decided not to do either one of those. So I'll share this video with you all. So if you want to get started with Block and Qubit, this is like the easiest way to get up and running with Block, essentially. The Block library, I should say. What is yield? So back over here, I used yield. The keyword yield is used when you use a stream. So when you mark a function with async star, that means that you're going to be working with a stream. So you're returning some type of stream, and you're going to be passing events out over time. So yield is like the alternative to return. So as opposed to return state dot copy with, right? Because return is like once you return something, you're done, right? Like the code doesn't go any further. A yield is like it's going to pass some data into the stream, and it's going to continue running. And then like as more values come in, you're going to be able to yield out more values. So it's like an alternative to return when you're working with a stream. Yo, I am new to Flutter stuff. I have a question about how to organize Flutter project view consuming API. So yeah, like the video that I cover here that I just posted about Block is also a great way to start, because I show you how to deal with your UI and then use Block the Block library as state management. So I think that is a really good video to get started with. Chihab. So like, yeah, go ahead and check that one out. Do you know Ling Kotlin? Yes, I do. I want to get back into doing more Android videos after I'm done with this challenge. I've just been focusing on Flutter a lot lately. But as you can see, I have a couple of Jetpack Compose videos in here. So I do know Kotlin, yes. And okay. Thanks for the explanation. your videos for Block were a great help. I'm going to start with a Pokemon app for starters. Oh, yeah, like that's literally what we make right here. Where is it? Pokédex. Pokédex with Block. See? See? I got relevant examples. So yeah, you'll actually be working with Block and make a Pokédex app and everything. So that's going to be it for today. Thank you all for hanging out. Oh, actually, yeah. Yeah, that's going to be it for today. Thank you all for hanging out with me. I had such a great morning with you all. I might do another stream later. I'm not sure. I have to record a couple of videos, make sure that we get this hashtag 30 days of Flutter thing going and finished up so that I can work on other projects. I've been eager to work on other projects, but I've just been focusing on this and I want to wrap it up. So yeah, thank you again, all of you, for your time, hanging out with me, for the chatting. Really appreciate it. Go out there and keep coding passionately.